Okay, so for those people out there, I got a good tip that's going to help you out. This is how to use the ARMORY. How to use the ARMORY. A lot of people never use it. A lot of people have their gear, they keep the best gear on, and that's all they wear. Forever, period. That's it. So I'm going to show you how I organize my ARMORY. First of all, I have a farming mode. This is general dungeons, anything that you're going to be doing, solo or whatever. This is the general things you're going to be doing, but I have two of them. I have a farming mode offensive build and a farming mode defensive build. Now look, I just clicked and you probably notice all the skills stayed the same. The only difference I have, now take a look, what do you notice changed? Watch, I'm gonna click the top. I click the bottom. The only difference we saw was the chest piece, and that's the only difference I have. So one build, defensive mode, is where I have my bone armor set up to protect me from several hits. That's the only difference. So when I'm in defensive mode, I'm running a raid or something like that, boss does a special attack, I pop that armor, and now I'm invincible for 5 hits. So that's the only difference. If I'm farming in the open world, I never have to worry about that. I have my bone armor set to do damage to the mobs. So it's just constantly running. And you can actually do the same thing no matter what class you're playing, no matter what build you got. You make a slight change that makes a little bit of a difference, it can save your teammates' lives as well. I see teammate going down on the defensive mode. This actually applies to my group mates as well. Someone's getting down 20% hit points, I pop the shield, they are protected for 5 hits, and then they can stay in the battle. We can finish the raids a lot faster. Do the same thing for your builds as well. Now here's another thing. Farming mode and PvP mode, you should have 2 separate sets of gear because there's different things you need in PvP than you do on PvE. You're fighting bosses, you're just out in the world fighting other things. You want to have your gear set up differently. So now when I click on PvP, we have a whole new set of skills. Actually, I lied. They're almost the same. Let's take a look at skills. Take a look at these over here. So when I go to farming, we have bone spikes, we have the little floating hits, but these 2 at the end changed and the first one changed. Why? Well, my first attack, this one is like an AoE, semi-AoE, okay? All right, but when I go to PvP, this is a direct damage. It basically goes after one target and maybe one other person. So when you're PvPing, you're not AoEing. You don't have the entire team standing around waiting for you to AoE them down. So we don't really need that. So we got slightly more damage on a single target hit. Now let's go back up and compare this. I moved my bone armor over. I recommend keeping your skills on the same key, no matter where they are. So my bone armor is moved on this skill list. However, on my keys to activate them, they're in the same place. So no matter what I'm running, PvE, PvP, I know press number 4 for bone armor or whatever it happens to be, number 3 or number 4. Don't remember. Anyway, keep it consistent and that would actually help you. Now PvP, I have this Wraith form. I used to see people running around in Wraith and PvP. I'm like, what the hell are they doing? They're Wraith. However, if you got the essence for it, your Wraith is a fear as well. So it's a little small damage over time and it applies fear to your opponents. So that's actually a good thing. You get rushed by people, you fear them, and you're doing damage to them at the same time by throwing down all of your other things. And I have these floating heads that chase them as well. Now, this bone armor for PvP is the exact same bone armor from my defensive mode. So then you see lots of people. You see the barbarians popping their big powers. You see them glowing right before they jump on your head. That's where you pop something like that bone armor. And now it's like, hey, your first big fat attack did nothing at all. Unless they do that whirlwind. When they're like spinning around, yeah, that can take like all 5 ticks of your invulnerability instantly. So once again, any class can do this. You're basically going to make one build for PvP, a second build for general fighting in the world, PvE. And then you might have a sub-spec of your PvE, where PvE for easy to farm mobs, and then a PvP for your little harder mobs, which will be less DPS, but more things to keep you alive. All right, and let's take a look when we go to the bottom one. Then I have one for Shadow War. Now, Shadow War, completely different from everything else. Remember, when you're in the Shadow War, when you are a shadow, How many mobs are you fighting? You're fighting one big giant guy. That's it. Just one big guy. So you're pretty much going to have single targets on him, but Shadow War is a little bit different because you're also dodging all the stuff he's throwing out and all that kind of stuff. So that's a unique fight. That's not PvP where you have to worry about chasing people, CCing them, getting away. It's not PvE where you got lots of mobs clustered together. So a completely different build for Shadow War. And what you're going to do is find out what position are you going to have in Shadow War. Are you going to be in the main battle chasing this guy around where you need to load up lots of mobility? Or are you going to be in one of the support battles where you're literally standing still just shooting and shooting and shooting? So I have my Shadow War build set for support. We can't really look at it right now because I upgraded a few pieces. They're a lot blank. Why are they still blank? Because I'm immortal now. I don't need to worry about Shadow War for a while, guys. So basically, I load mine for support. I'm standing still, single target, so I'm gonna load up the Shepherd set because all of my pets, minions will go after him, and the Shepherd sets gives me the bonus, so my minions are doing bonus damage, and then I have this little AoE on the ground that causes them to frenzy as well, doing bonus damage as well, and once again, single target there. So let my summons do the work, and I just keep the frenzy on the ground, and they just go at it like crazy. It always gets like top percentage DPS once I got this build tweaked. Now in the past, I was actually trying to run my farming offensive build in the Shadow War. It works, yes. And I was steadily getting like DPS right around 6% of the damage, 7%, 8%. But once I switched and actually focused and planned my strategy, that put me up there at like 15% constantly, sometimes 20 or 30%. So plan out what you're gonna be doing, make a custom build for that, and every time you upgrade, you are going to have to, you salvage your old parts, you get the essences out of it, whatever, then you're gonna have to resave these sets one by one. Load this set in, the part that's missing, let me actually show you how to do that. Okay, so let's load this part in now, right? We transfer all the essences over. I got a lot of missing pieces. So now I'm gonna have to go through my build, take those pieces, put them back in, and then throw whatever essence was required for that build. So these are the missing pieces. I also have a ring here. Remember, we were running the Shepherd set, 6-piece, only when we're running the Shadow War. So now I'm just gonna have to find my last Shepherd piece, throw it in there. It is not even in my bag. That's how long it's been since we were Shadows. It's been like hours, guys. No, actually, it's been like days, but it seems like a lot longer. And you will probably do the same thing that I've done from time to time. You look through your bag and you're like, oh, where's my other ring? And then you look in your stash. Oh, you know what? I accidentally salvaged it. That might happen to you sometime. So just be prepared to go and refarm something that if you accidentally salvage it. So let me throw this ring on that I just pulled out of my stash, and I literally pulled it out of my stash and don't see it. People, you were watching when I clicked, but I was not watching. What exactly did I do with that? So let's make sure we got our 6-piece loaded. Yeah. So we got our 6-piece set now. Now, what do you see? We don't got the little bonus. Now, you can go over to Charcy and do all this trickery and actually get it done. But I think it's just a lot easier just to equip something else and then throw it back in there. And this time, you will actually say, yeah, go ahead and transfer the things. A lot easier to do that than to talk to Charcy. If you're missing your gems, go ahead and throw your gem in there as well. What? 920 life? I don't need 920 life when I'm in Shadow War. I need more damage, but I'm a little bit short on damage because I probably upgraded when I wasn't wearing that set and then used that extra piece to throw in something else when I was upgrading these. So many things to keep track of, guys. So anyway, I got my set build, but remember, essences. Once you put them back on, you have to go through all of your essence to make sure they are where they need to be. You can actually walk over to her. You can just click on her and select navigate. So now we're just gonna go, you do the same thing. Every time you upgrade your gear, you're gonna be doing this as well. All right, so let's go over to her. Let's talk to her. And let's put the essences on 100% focused on our summons. Mage duration, good. We got mage, an extra mage, very good. But the weapon we were short on, bone spirits. I'm not even using bone spirits. So let's go ahead and look for something that will give us the biggest boost on our summons. Once again, for your class, you're going to be looking for the biggest boost on your thing. If you're going to Shadow War, biggest single target boost, if you get the idea. Okay, so let me look through here and see what can I throw here from these essences that will give me the biggest boost. And that's probably the Molten Golem. It has a constant AoE gone off while it's fighting. So yeah, we'll throw that there. The other pieces I was missing didn't have any pants. Dark Curse is on my pants. We're not going to be using Dark Curse. We need to focus on our summons. What do we need? We need the summon that causes them to frenzy. Here we go. Causes your minions to do bonus damage, increasing their attack speed, all that kind of stuff. That's how you bump up your numbers there when you're running Shadow War and support. Bone Armor causes your minions to continuously damage the enemy. So this is actually good as well. We're just going full offensive on Shadow War. We're not even worried about defense. Just go straight out there. Just let these battles get over quickly. Bone Spirits, we're not running when we're in a Shadow War. We actually want to find something else. Now hold on, let me look around. Which one of these do we think could better increase the DPS of our summons? All right, Skeletal Mage has a Grim Reaper. Yes. Now, why would we do Grim Reaper instead of some of the other things? Well, for this class, for Necromancer, your default summons, they stand in one place. They're locked to one place. But the Grim Reaper is mobile and it can actually move. So we actually want the Grim Reaper so it can go to places and we can direct them. And when it's all in the same area, then we throw down our circle and they all get that boost damage, boost attack, and all that kind of stuff. So once again, ladies and gentlemen, don't forget, very important, I've forgotten this countless times. You spend all that time getting your set perfect. You have to go back, highlight that set, and select overwrite. And now that puts all the changes there. So the next time I pull this up, everything is waiting for me. I hope you enjoyed this information. This is Savadious signing out. Be sure to click subscribe, ladies and gentlemen. We found out that 3 out of 4 people have not yet subscribed. Please subscribe. You'll be getting more updates as the days go by. Savadious signing out.